you know. Today is World Poetry Day, and I just want to talk about poetry. She's beautiful. They all are God's creation. But for her, she is mind-bending. She looks as if you are the only one ever seen. Her gaze puts you in the right direction. She sees the unseen in me. She makes thee appreciate how tenderly and lovely the great architect had made thee. She cries when you are in pain and does all she can to make thee laugh again. She's mind-bending, I once said, because I can't discern the magnitude of her love. She shares anything to sharing nothing. She tells exactly how she feels hiding nothing. She tells your mood and reverses it if it's not pleasing. Her every word is carefully chosen. She fights for you in the other realm than you do in the physical. She's at the hair's breadth. She's the day you never forget. She's light that never goes out. She's happiness itself. In all ways she makes obeisance to God. She's wonderfully and fearfully made. She's rain falling on barren ground. She's dew which happens but you can't see by what method. She's rich in understanding. She's a universal set of blessings. She's all I see when I see. She's mine truly. I can't set my eyes off her. The perfect pair. She sharpens my blunt edges. She's faithful in the smallest ways. She's kind to all persons. She body patience. A portrait. She does nothing for that. She brings wrong to naught. She's the perfect shot. She's the greatest archer's perfect shot. She's poetry. She's love. She's you. Beautiful poetic, have you known? Okay, so let's do the next one. The next one is titled The Magic in Me. Say the storms came and drove you away. Say the storms came and you stood firm anyway. Say there's nothing to write about and stories from old are all we got. Say we fingers peeled and every word we said was cold. Say nobody ever worked and the dreams we had were untold. Say nobody ever died and Adam's generation was still around. Say we were all born with silver spoons stuck in our mouth and a cup we drink from is gold. Say we lack nothing, save the fact that we lack nothing. Say we've all been fooled that our good doesn't pay off. Say tech doesn't exist and we still lived in a stone age. Say the first Adam never sinned and we walked around naked. Say we still barter traded like I'll trade my mic for gold. Say Annie tastes like bow, my lips never told a lie and I will tell what a man thinketh. Say anything you want to say. Say I've got God, save everything in the world. I'm contrary wise, but though I be like a pebble in the desert, though my birthplace be a rubble in the market, though I be unbeatable, not by my doing, but the magic within, though life be short, very short, and the enemies around me like swarm of bees about an honey pot, though the future can't be seen, yet we know it be bright. Though you took my number, I never called for you were drowned in my smile. Though difficulties are inevitable, the magic in me makes them evitable. Though it may rain and destroy, yet the same will grow crops and water our livestock. Though I walk with 3 limbs and my headlights don't work anymore, for my heart is glad. Though we are imperfect in our walk, Christ had made us perfect. You see, I can assume all things. I can say all I want, that I am good for nothing, or that I am the best. Laugh, and the world will laugh too. But I say also that believe in yourself, and the universe will believe in you. For if there is a tendency of impossibility, then that tendency itself is a possibility. For within us, embodied in the mitochondria of each 1 million blood cells in us, lies power. Power that is seldom used. Howbeit the little around us confirms what this power can do. Knowing not what magic we can do, knowing not that greatness does not lie in the color of our skin, but in the breath of life that runs through every living nostril. This magic is neither a quest, nor is it in the West, nor are you going to travel to Europe, nor America to find it. This magic is in our hearts. It is tied to the believer's spirit. It is closer to us than our skin. We are born with it. For the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Only we lost touch of ourselves and forgot our roots. We forgot who made us and predestined us, who has only thought of peace and not of evil towards us, to give us an expected end. For we are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that we should show forth the praises of him who has called us out of darkness into his marvelous light. Therefore, tell me not that I can do it. Tell me not that I can be the next president. Tell me not that I can be the next cheddar. Tell me not that I can be whoever I want to be. But if Christ is in me and I am in him, I can do all things. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but he has given us the spirit of power and of love and of sound mind. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but he has given us the spirit of power and of love and of sound mind. Now this is magic. My name is Infi Abino.
And it's amazing how poetry do touch deeper places than the eye can see. You're still on the AM Club here on MX24. My name is Miriam Udwak Mensah. But this month of March, as we celebrate Ghana Month, my name is Lebeni Mensah. Joining me in the studio today, you already witnessed an amazing, amazing performance from Infi the poet. And that was amazing. I'm going to ask him a few questions around what he did perform. But today we're observing and celebrating Poetry Day, the World Poetry Day, right? Today's World Poetry Day. So if you don't know now, you know. And so we're going to be having more conversations here on the show with Twitter Light. Interesting names. I told her I'm going to ask her about her name. And then also we have Afi. She is also a poet. Twitter.
Yes.
How are you doing? But her Twitter is spelled Twita. Yes. What does that mean? Tell me what your name means.
I discovered the name Twitter because I realized the bluebird, the social media bluebird, is cute.
Yeah.
And then I'm cute, and it's a way people get to express themselves and wouldn't even feel bad about it. And I believe I express myself the same way.
Unapologetically
Yes,
you.
I own my words, and so
Alrighty.
I am Twitter.
You are
I mean,
Twitter.
social and cute. And then the light in the sense that I am the light to people trapped in darkness. So it's just me changing the spelling, but the same meaning.
The same meaning.
Yes.
Interesting. Wow, I'm impressed. Afi.
Yes.
Davi Afi.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show today. And also, Infi, that was amazing. Thank you so much for giving us that. I loved the one. I loved both of them, but maybe mine will be what the first one you did about poetry, how you described it. First, I was like, oh, he's describing a woman. Yeah, most definitely. Okay, there we go. Then he's like, poetry. I said, okay, that's all poetry. But for you as poet, what does World Poetry Day mean to you? Let me start with Twitter. What does World Poetry Day mean to you? What is the significance of celebrating or observing such a day?
First of all, I'd like to say Happy World Poetry Day to my fellow poets.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to be here on a World Poetry Day because it's a time where I get to understand that I am not alone in this field and that a lot of people across the world, and the fact that the world is celebrating us, because it's not easy. Coming together with your emotions, reality, life, sometimes the things that do not exist, and you still have to bring these into life. I feel like we need to be appreciated. So having a whole day set for World Poetry Day is just
Big deal.
a big deal. So.
Afi, how do you feel about this day?
Well, I feel amazing. Like Twitter had said, it's not easy. And then for World Poetry Day, it's actually a day to, celebrate as poets, both the young and the old. It's an opportunity to encourage or push people who, want to quit writing, give them the morale to continue writing, because our words actually bring life, brings hope and joy. It explains a whole lot of things. So World Poetry Day, it's really amazing.
It's huge for you.
Yeah, it's really huge.
We're going to go into whether you guys want to have an event or how the experience is, but let me throw it to Infi as well. So how would one day in a year impact your craft so much so that, it gives it the audience that it needs, it gives it the impact that you want to have on the society with your craft, and also get the response that you need? It's just one day in a year. How do you think that can help?
Okay, it can help in the sense that, like, first of all, it's because of World Poetry Day that we are here.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one way it's helping. Okay, and
Because again, I mean, if it wasn't World Poetry Day, I probably wouldn't have told you. Okay, makes sense.
yeah. So it's a day that actually UNESCO has set aside so that poetry can be celebrated.
Celebrated.
Poetry and poets can be celebrated. So this year's team is actually standing on shoulders of giants.
Okay.
So the giants meaning the past poets, the renowned poets, the Ghanaian poets who are dead and are still alive. We are celebrating them and we are remembering their good works.
And you're standing on your shoulder to propel a new call. So I want, Twitter, how did you get into poetry?
I think my daddy's illness triggered the poetry in me because I remember when he got very sick stroke, may his soul rest in perfect peace, he left me in a room where I had to start reading more of motivational messages from people. So there was a time where I read like line by line to him, and he said, "You make the best motivational speaker that I know." And so one time I was reading that alone, and there was this emotional instrumental playing in the background. And then I realized that if I compile these things and I make a video with the emotional instrumental, it would be nice. So I tried, and I'm like, is this not what these poets are doing? Why don't I try writing something? So I looked at my dad, wrote what I was going through, and then added the same beats to it, and then it was one thing altogether. So then I realized I'm good at writing when it comes to really expressing what I feel within. So that is what
That's how it started
that's how
for
it
you.
started.
Wow. I mean, creatives are born through different emotional states.
Yeah.
And that's what I have heard. You'd hear stories of musicians and they'll tell you it was at a point where I feel like this is all I can do because I didn't have anything to turn to.
Yeah.
I never thought that it would be a story of a poet. And that's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
And for a day like this, it's very important to observe the things that you people do, what brings the poet in you. Who do you look up to, Afi, in the world of poetry? Because today, they said this year we're standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
Who do you look up to in the
Portia Ole-Iwola. She's a slam poet, and she's a spoken word artist. She's Nigerian,
Okay.
but she's based in the States.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, what are the spheres of poetry? Because you just mentioned she's a slam poet.
Yeah,
Who is a slam poet? What are the areas in poetry?
So slam, it's also poetry, but it's more, okay, I feel it's more hard because that's how I present my pieces.
Okay.
Yes, it's more punchy, like when
Okay.
you're slamming a door, the way you slam.
Oh, it's not a slum, but like a slum.
Yes, slam, like slam. Yes.
I have no idea where my memory went to.
So
Okay.
yes, that's how I do it. So
Okay.
slam is a competition. It's a poetry competition where we just we did one last week Saturday,
Okay.
and then Tita and I, we slammed, and it was an amazing show.
So you give poetry and she gives poetry.
Yeah,
And you give poetry. Just like
yeah.
a back to back.
No,
Like-
we were like, I think we were 8. Tita, were we 8?
Seven.
Yeah, we were 7.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a competition.
So you do, and the person, is that
Yeah,
like
so
a
2
rap
rounds.
battle?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like a
kind
rap battle. Yeah, so you ballot, you pick, the first one goes, the second one goes, then round 2, you give
And then
it
which
back.
other side of poetry do we have?
Oh, spoken word, the normal one,
Okay.
and then I think
Storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling.
Okay.
And rap music,
rap
would
music,
would
yeah,
all
poetry.
yeah would classify them
Oh,
as
as poetry?
Yes.
yes.
Is it?
Because most of the lyrics are actually poems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just that they go with a particular
sure.
rhythm. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Tell me your story, Ify. How did you get into poetry? How did you discover that you were a poet?
Okay. I'm not only a poet, I'm also a musician and a rapper. So, yeah.
It always like
Yeah.
intertwined.
Yeah,
Okay, tell
yeah.
me about it. How did you discover this? Because today we're talking about poetry, so let's see
Yeah.
how. Because I'm sure, and I stand to be corrected, that your poetry aspect influences your music aspect as well. So let's
Exactly.
talk about that. Let's talk about your poetry. How did you discover that?
Okay, poetry to me is like Twitter said, it's a way of expressing my innermost feelings. Okay, and that's one way that I also use to encourage others and then motivate others. Okay, so because through poetry, I've had a lot of people like being vindicated and then like also taking their poetry craft upon themselves. Some people, they believe that they can't write, they can't do anything, but just seeing you do what you do encourages them to like write or to like start poetry. So that alone like is so much to me. Like
Right. So how long have you been doing this?
it was after SHS, so let's say 7 years or so.
7 years of
Yeah.
poetry. Now let me and if any adult is watching, anybody who's older than me is watching, they'll be like, you this young people, you like to complain. So yes, a moment of complaint. Let's call it a moment of complaint.
Okay.
So in every creative sector in Ghana, we see the struggle. We see what musicians go through. We see what actors go through every year. Budget is red. There's nothing allocated to the creative arts, and there has been several campaigns to help, several campaigns to prompt the government to support the creative arts, but we don't get much of those. I mean, we will hear that, budget, we've allocated this, and then money never shows up anywhere. How difficult is it to do poetry in Ghana?
Ha. It's very difficult. You know, I would say poetry is the least regarded form of art in our space here in Ghana. And when you get a call, I want you to come perform for me. Okay, what is it about? The person gives you a brief about what you're supposed to come do. And then the person is like, okay, so I'll see you. You see me like how?
How you see me?
You know, they feel they are giving you a stage, a platform, and they are doing you a favor. Not knowing it's you who go through the sleepless nights, you rack your brains to write. I'd say they don't see or they don't feel or respect what you put into your craft to bring to people, to feel comfortable, to feel sad, to feel happy, or to feel what you are feeling or what you are bringing on stage. So it's very hard, but thankful for Ehalakasa. Okay, so Ehalakasa is a fraternity, it's a fun house that, you know, it's an umbrella where young poets like myself and Twitter are managed. And Ehalakasa is really doing an amazing job.
Okay.
If it wasn't for Ehalakasa, I'm not sure I'll be here talking to you.
Because for you, it's not lucrative enough to sustain you, or what? What is the problem? What's the actual problem with the poetry? Because I want to understand what your challenges are.
My challenge, okay, our challenges are, it's not something you can say you depend on for the rest of your life.
Really?
Yes.
But do you know of any stories of poets that have survived on like their craft? That's all they do, and they are paid well. Do you know of any?
Yes, Poetry Asantwa.
She Ghanaian?
Yeah, she's Ghanaian.
She performs here,
Yes.
and she's paid well.
I think.
Yes.
I've heard of Ram Sonny as well.
And
Yes.
we have Nana Asase.
Yes.
Okay.
Those big ones.
Those big ones are
Yeah.
making money. You think
Yeah.
they make money from it?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
So for you, it's just the fact that you're young ones coming up. You know how they talk about process? Because again, how I'm feeling that there's a bit of that. Oh, you need to go through the process, and there's a bit of maybe you're too young for a craft that is meant for adults, so people might not appreciate your presence.
Well, if we are saying I'm too young, I started poetry. If we take the fact when I was 5 outside, I would say I started poetry at age 11. I'm almost 26.
Okay.
So it's taking like I'd say 15.
Yeah.
So you've been
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
you've been here.
Yeah.
Girl, you're a veteran.
So for 15 years, and if you still look at me and tell me I'm too
young to
you know, reap the fruits of my
it's
hard
not fair.
work, it's not fair.
Right.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Twitter, I am itching to find out what your experiences have been after Daddy propelled this great craft inside of you. What some of the challenges have been? Have you ever sat down and be like, this is so wrong, I'm out?
I think I would side with what Afi is saying, and I'm sure most of the poets
Poets.
in the country can be on the same in the same boat, because sometimes you need the exposure. I mean, it depends on where, it depends on what you're offering, but sometimes I feel like it starts with us, the poets. You should know your worth. You should know what you're giving to the person. So when they say, I'm giving you a platform, regardless what platform you think it is, you should be able to tell them that I am not interested. But the challenge we are facing is that they think they are giving us the platform. And this is so because if I and Afi and my brother here have agreed to speak up that if you invite us that you're giving the platform, we'll tell you no. We have to be paid, because if you go to a fashion designer that you're going to sew your dress, you have to pay them. So how come me coming to do a performance at your show, you're telling me you're giving me the platform? That's what I do. But there are other poets who would also get so desperate for this platform, a lot of them. So it makes all of us look as
Available.
if we are available.
For lack of a better expression,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
It's very challenging.
So there's
That's-
not like a coalition of poets, you know, there's not like a body that regulates what you do, prizes that you give. There's nothing like that.
That's why some people have managers, and if you happen to be in a halakasa, I think you are in the right side, because when you get a gig and then you are not so sure of how the people will treat you, you can just call the heads,
Management.
and then they would talk to the people.
On your behalf.
Yes, they'll deal with them on your behalf.
And I would commend that you young poets have actually put yourself in this position. Do you belong to a body that, you know, helps, or do you have a management team?
No, I'm
for now.
an independent.
Independence.
Independence, yeah.
The reason why I would like to commend them for this, because I want to jump into the conversation of you being female. Okay,
yeah.
before we come to you.
sure.
Now, we've heard of creatives being abused sexually, rejected, looked down upon because they're female. And this is not me playing the feminist card. I'm not feminist. Everybody knows this. But we have real challenges where young girls you use the word desperate to put their craft in the space. Like, people should see me. I want them because I have it.
Yes.
But because of desperation, they find themselves in situations where they are taken advantage of. Have you ever experienced it before, both of you?
Never. And I
ever.
don't think.
And I don't
You
think
will
we'll
ever.
ever.
Okay. But have you heard of things like
Yes,
that?
I have.
Is it in the poetry world too?
No, I haven't heard of that in the poetry industry.
Well, industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ever before?
No.
Hey, and then you guys are protected.
Yes.
I mean, I just feel females, so
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
about that. So don't you guys feel like, there are too many men in this industry? It's a male-dominated industry, so shouldn't I just leave? Because I want to believe that there has been points where you feel like, this is not for me. Any of you had
I feel
that
like
experience?
that's what even motivates me
Yes.
to
I think.
to do
And
better.
Halakasa is doing an amazing job, because since we are females, very few, they are like, you can do this, push it.
They
and then
support you.
yes,
Yes.
and then anytime there's a gig or there's something like
They're
I think
all-
we are the first people they call
They
before
call.
they attend to the men.
The men.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
How does that make you feel? Do you feel like the women in creative are becoming too empowered that you people might look like you're being relegated? Like new men?
Oh, for me, I don't feel so.
You don't feel so?
Yeah, I don't
you,
feel so.
you
I
still
believe
got your
that.
ground.
Yeah, I believe that the world is so big for everyone to have an
Yeah,
equal share
that's
or
true.
a bigger portion to eat. So
What are some of the disadvantages of being a poet in Ghana? What are some of the disadvantages?
okay, the disadvantage is one, lack of what word should I use? You are less appreciated. That's it. Like, you are less appreciated for the craft that you do, and people feel that what you are doing is just something simple. They can do it, but they are forgotten the kind of work
It
that
goes into it.
into it, the toil, the research that goes to even writing a little piece can take a very long time. Even memorizing it can take a very long time. So I think that poetry is less appreciated, and I feel that the creative industries in Ghana should come on board so that poetry will be lucrative for the young ones like us, because
It's a call in the right
Yeah,
direction,
yeah.
I believe. It's a call in the right direction. What are your takes? And I'm going to take all of you, your take on this year's theme, standing on the giants, or on the shoulders of,
on the shoulders
of giants. And
Yeah.
when we're talking about the giants, we're talking about poetry giants.
Yes, poetry giants.
Who inspires your work? How is it important to throw light on the people who have influenced this industry to make it big? How important? Let me start with Twitter. How is it? So, what's the relevance of throwing light on people, those who have done this work and gone for you to and paved the way for you to come to?
Honestly, I think that it would be much appreciated if these people because for all they know, we follow them on almost all their social media platforms. And so they should really look back to know that there are people looking up to them. So if it's a collaboration, but I don't see these things. But in the background, we know that, oh, she's my role model. I really have nothing really to say, but, well.
Who do you look up to?
Pocha Santoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
you too.
Portia. Ole, you wala.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I miss
And you?
Portia.
I wouldn't say one person, like diverse people.
Yeah.
From Shakespeare to Rhyme Sonny, like name it. I don't have a single role model.
Oh, okay. So you look up to a lot of
Yeah,
people
I
and they inspire your work. If you found yourself in a room randomly and you're supposed to create something, who would be the first person you'd want to listen to first before jumping into writing?
First person, in terms of poetry or music. Okay, we are talking about
We're
poetry.
talking about poetry
Yeah.
today. Your music career can take a rest.
Okay. I'll say Rhyme Sonny. Yeah.
Rhyme Sonny.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, Rhyme Sonny, you're doing a good job because these young men are really looking up to you, and you will look to Nigeria.
I think I like Portia because of how she presents her pieces.
Her pieces.
Always on fire. And yeah.
There's this
the
new
fire.
one who emerged recently,
Hafi.
Hafi.
Yes.
What do you make of her approach? Because two things I've noticed, and she made me love poetry. Honestly, I didn't see the need. I mean, I have friends who are poetry. I'm like, okay, so you want me to come to a show where you put and you're
I just
like you see, so it triggers emotions,
Yeah.
and that's something I've noticed about poetry. If you got there happy, you might leave sad because someone will give you some things that will trigger the things that have been on your mind for years. And so for me, I shun away from it because of that. But I think that she touches on developmental issues, economical issues, governmental issues. What kind of poetry is that? And for you, is it something that you people can do strongly? Is it like a move that can be encouraged?
yes. And funny enough, I would say it's the smallish and cute ones who do that.
Who do that?
Yes.
And you wonder what they are going to do. You wonder if they are the only people suffering in the country. It's the smallest people. Half is pretty.
Yes.
Like,
She's
I
cute.
have a couple of poems like that.
Yes.
You do too.
Yeah, I do.
It's like the system just makes us write all those kind of things.
Yeah.
We don't plan to. It's just
So more, I can say that it's safe to say that you people are inspired by what is happening around you a
Yes,
lot.
of course.
Oh my God, there's a lot of mental work, bro. When people are consciously trying to run away from the problem, you are fixated on it, trying to get it to make sense to you to write down.
Yes. And then I think when we talk about it, people want to vent, but they don't find the chance or the right approach to vent. So when we do it on their behalf, they're like, oh, that was fine. So yeah, we talk about it. We talk about almost everything. Yes.
Okay, so we have thrown light on World Poetry Day today. I had Twitter lights with me, Afi, who I feel like is a powerhouse. I feel like this chick, you put her that she do nothing that Havi does, like half I would say. I'm it's not a comparison. I'm just saying that she's the only person who introduced me to poetry, and I understand it. But I had Infi with me, and we threw a bit more light on are we going to do any projects this year? What are we doing this year to observe or to celebrate World Poetry Day? And how can we find you on social media, all of you?
I'm currently working on a book and then an album called Hopeful, as in full of hope.
Oh,
Yes, so I think by May, everything should be sorted out with. And I'm on social media, that's Instagram at Twitterlite. That's TWITALITE. There's no hyphen, there's no spaces together.
It's together. Afi.
Alright, so I'm the reigning slam Grand Slam champion.
Amy,
Thank
congratulations.
you. And then the Shishi, as you can see, Shishi.
Yeah.
I'm the Shishi Slam champ as well.
Okay.
Yeah, this last week. And
Nice.
yes,
Congratulations.
so thank you. For winning the National Grand Slam, there'll be an African Cup. And then when hopefully I qualify, and I know I will.
You will.
Yes, and then I get to represent Ghana on the international level.
Wonderful.
Yes. as
Wonderful.
well.
Congratulations. How do we find you on social media?
And I'm Afi Gale on Facebook, and she's _Afi on Instagram. SHIS_Afi. And anything regarding poetry, slam, workshops, it's Halakasa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Yes.
Okay, great. Envy, how do we get hold of you? What are you doing this year?
Oh, okay. So myself, I have released a new piece.
Okay.
It's titled Christ Is.
Okay.
Christ Is.
Oh, Christ is.
Yeah, as in
Nice.
Christ is where the Christ
Nice.
is.
Nice. Okay. How do we find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on all social media as Infi Poetic, like Infi INFI, then you add Poetic.
Poetic.
Yeah, and it's together.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to share your life with me. I really appreciate this. We wish you all the very best
Thank you.
in your poetic world. Just don't come and trigger my emotions. Well, that's it here on Lifestyle Daily. We celebrated World Poetry Day. So if you don't know too much about it, follow them on social media and get to know more about poetry. And you would appreciate it. We'll be right back to plug into something even more exciting right after this.